Welcome to the NewsX World Explainer series. I'm Suma Kataoka. Global pressure is intensifying on Israel as it expands the war into the remaining parts of Gaza City, aiming to take full control of what is left of Gaza. In a striking turn, countries around the world are charting a very different course than Israel may have expected. They're rallying behind the recognition of a Palestinian state. Internationally, the backlash is mounting.
The international community is moving to establish a Palestinian state, and it is opposing actions which undermine the two-state solution. The Netanyahu government is rapidly expanding illegal settlements. Settler violence in the West Bank has increased. There have been threats to annex the occupied Palestinian territories and proposing the permanent forced displacement of the Palestinian people.
The United Nations, the UK and Australia have all urged Israel to halt its plan. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer called it wrong, while Australia warned that it would only deepen the humanitarian catastrophe. The United Nations Human Rights Chief issued a blunt warning, stating that this move defies international court rulings and risks further atrocities.
Expanding military operations will do nothing to bring an end to this conflict. It will not secure the release of the hostages. It will only deepen the suffering of Palestinian civilians in Gaza. This is not a path to resolution. It is a path to more bloodshed.
Face à la gravité des dernières annonces faites par Israël, il nous fallait tirer la sonnette d'alarme. Comme nous l'avons indiqué le 8 août dernier, la France condamne, dans les termes les plus forts, le plan du gouvernement israélien d'étendre ses opérations militaires pour prendre le contrôle de la ville de Gaza en vue de contrôler militairement l'ensemble de la bande de Gaza.
Right now, 3/4 of United Nations member states have already recognized or will soon recognize Palestinian statehood. Australia is the latest to announce its recognition, joining a growing list that includes France, Canada, Finland, Saudi Arabia, and the UK, which has pledged to formally recognize Palestine if Israel refuses a truce. In London, hundreds marched on Sunday, not for statehood, but demanding the release of the remaining hostages held by Hamas. Many wore yellow ribbons, a symbol of solidarity, and criticized Prime Minister Starmer's plan for recognition without a ceasefire.
This week I joined the meeting with the UK government to continue to press our case that the hostages must be freed before the UK government can recognize the state of Palestine.
Meanwhile, in Tel Aviv, tens of thousands took to the streets protesting Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's push to capture Gaza City entirely. Families of hostages have called for the focus to be on securing their loved ones' freedom. They warned that Netanyahu will be held personally accountable if any captives are dead.
I think the new plan is just another plan that is going to fail, and it could very well be the end of our hostages, and of course it will take probably more lives of our soldiers. I don't think it's going to work. All the plans haven't worked up until now.
And we will end with a direct message to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. If you invade parts of Gaza and the hostages are murdered, we will pursue you in the town squares, in election campaigns, and at every time and place. We will remind the people of Israel day and night that you could have secured a hostage deal and you chose to have them killed.
As international condemnation escalates, the United Nations calls Israel's plan a dangerous escalation. The European Union has warned that this could have consequences for Israel's relations with Europe. Germany has already halted arms exports, France calls the plan a dead end, and Spain says it will only bring more destruction.
Non-Israeli peaceful civilian administration, by that I mean a civilian administration that doesn't educate its children for terror, doesn't pay terrorists, and doesn't launch terrorist attacks against Israel. That's what we want to see in Gaza. So it's neither Hamas nor the PA. Last Thursday, Israel's Security Cabinet, instructed the IDF to dismantle the two remaining Hamas strongholds in Gaza City and the central camps. Contrary to false claims, this is the best way to end the war and the best way to end it speedily.
But what about the people? What happens to the hundreds of thousands of civilians still trapped in Gaza City? A place that has already been nearly flattened after almost 2 years of war. There is also growing division within Israel's own leadership. The military chief has pushed back against the expansion, and opinion polls show that most Israelis now want a hostage deal, not a deeper war. Currently, about 20 Israeli hostages are still believed to be alive in Gaza. Many fear that a full military takeover could put their lives even in more danger. The United States, however, is taking a different stance, announcing it will deny visas to Palestinian Authority officials, criticizing their push to internationalize the conflict through bodies like International Criminal Court. Washington is rejecting any unilateral recognition, even as its closest allies move ahead with statehood plans. With over 61,000 Palestinians and more than 1,200 Israelis killed since October 7, 2023, according to Hamas-run Gaza's health ministry, pressure is growing for a ceasefire, the release of all hostages, and a return to negotiations on a two-state solution. But for now, both the war and the diplomatic divide are only deepening.
Because until Israeli and Palestinian statehood is permanent, peace can only be temporary.
So while Israel insists this is about security, the world is asking at what human cost, and who will protect the civilians and hostages, many of whom have already lost everything. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned with NewsX World for fact-based coverage and analysis.